After arriving in Japan, the first country on my journey to solo travel to 40 countries before I turned 40, I explored the awe-inspiring city of Tokyo. From Tokyo, I decided to take a bullet train to Osaka and spent a few days checking out the nation's kitchen, before I boarded a 5-hour bus to the last city of my Japan adventures. Good morning, good people from Kanazawa, Japan. Okay, so I was originally gonna go to Kyoto instead of Kanazawa, but after I did some research and found that this place was a little less traveled by my fellow tourists, I decided to hop over here instead. And boy, what a great decision it was, because I've only been here for a couple of days, but this place is amazing. It is so stinking charming, and a lot of Kanazawa is still well preserved from the Edo period, the final period of traditional Japan. And I'm actually headed to one of those districts right now, Higashichaya district. Over the next couple of days, I'm gonna take you along with me as I explore Japan's Golden City. Arriving in the Higashichaya district, I immediately felt like I'd been transported back to the Edo period. It was the traditional chaya houses and machaya townhouses, the quaint local cafes and boutiques housed in timeless buildings. This area invites you to wander and just take in the charm. And what I didn't know when I visited was that this district is designated as an important preservation district. And this still is very much a lived-in area, which is why I'm talking quieter, because I can hear people in their homes waking up for the morning. Another thing I'm also wondering is if these homes here in the Higashichaya district are passed down from generation to generation, or is it something where people have acquired these homes? Because as I'm, seeing people wake up this morning and tend to their morning duties, it's just interesting to see like the demographic that lives here. It is a lot of older people, and so I wonder if these homes have just been in families for generations. So Japan is known for a special type of pancake, which is the souffle pancake. And since I've been here, I've been on the hunt for one. Right in the heart of the vibrant Higashichaya district, I discovered a cozy little restaurant serving these mouth-watering souffle pancakes. Like many other Japanese restaurants, they offered set meals. The Eggs Benedict souffle pancake set that I ordered came with a side salad and fresh pineapple juice. And funny enough, this is actually my first time having Eggs Benedict. I didn't expect the pancake to be as sweet as it was, and the pancake paired really, really well with the egg and then the bacon that was on top. All in all, the meal was so good, and the ambiance of the restaurant was impressive. So spread out over 25 acres, it is considered one of the 3 great gardens of Japan. And I can see why it is absolutely beautiful, just everywhere you turn. But it's also so serene. There's streams all over the place. There's bonsai trees. There's so many beautiful spots to just sit and just take in nature and enjoy like the beauty of Japan. It's absolutely breathtaking here. I've seen quite a few of the groundskeepers working on the trees. They're climbing on ladders and shaping these trees. It's so cool to watch. You could easily spend a couple hours here. Keeping it real, I'm not a seafood lover. But when you're in a city that has one of the most robust sea and fresh food markets that's also been around for over 300 years, who am I not to check it out? I started off light with sushi like I've never had it before. Seared beef sushi dusted and garnished with gold. This guy seriously made it look like an art. Then I went for what I thought was going to be a sweet lemony treat, only to discover that I really misjudged what sweet bean paste tasted like. It was a little bit more earthy than I'd anticipated and not really my taste. I thought that the eel that I tried in Tokyo would be the most adventurous food I tasted in Japan. That was until I saw sea urchin. To my surprise, once I got over how slimy and cold it was, I realized I actually liked it. It was buttery and had a mild sweetness to it I wasn't at all expecting.
Not gonna lie, I didn't think that I would like it. I didn't have high expectations for it, but that was actually really, really good.
Last up on my little food tour of Omicho Market was ghost green custard, which I will admit I had no clue what that was. And I'm realizing that to find the best local eats, sometimes you just gotta blindly try stuff. The custard was the perfect texture and had a slight matcha taste to it. Glad I could say I left the market on a win.
So it's time for dinner, but I have no clue what I want to eat. So I'm just gonna walk around, see what's open, see what looks good in the window, and step inside. You made a mystery out of love. Breathe in new life in my lungs. Why would I ever run?
After grabbing a smoothie from Lawson's, one of Japan's most famous convenience stores, I set out for my first stop of the day, the 21st Century Museum of Contemporary Art. Here's why I always visit a museum everywhere I go. Visiting a country, for me at least, is as much about learning about the modern culture as it is about understanding how they got there. And I've found that museums in Japan, at least the two I've been to, do a wonderful job of not only being fun, but also immersive. Like for example, check out this incredible exhibit titled The Swimming Pool, where you can actually go underneath this fabricated pool. When viewed from the deck, the pool appears to be filled with deep shimmering water. And actually, a thin layer of water, only about 10 centimeters deep, is suspended over transparent glass. Below the glass is an empty space with aquarium walls that viewers can enter. You're only allowed 5 minutes underneath because it's so popular, but it's so worth it. But now we're off to my second stop of the day. Nagamishi is a samurai neighborhood preserved from the 1800s, and back then it was where the samurais of the Medea clan used to live with their families. So I'm really excited. Let's go.
can look in the window. You can't go inside these buildings, but you can look in the window and see what it used to look like inside. It's super, super cool. And it's just so serene. There's so much greenery around here. And the buildings, the way that they're crafted, the crafting of the buildings, I think is what brings it back to the Edo period. And that's one of the things that I really love about Kanazawa. It's very much a melding of the past and the present. There's so much modern here, but also there's a lot of things that are preserved. I just walked by a group of kids walking home from school on their own, and this is something that is so totally normal in all of Japan, really. In Tokyo and Osaka, I saw it too, but it just speaks to how safe this place is and the fact that little kids can walk home alone. Literally, when I was in Tokyo, I saw a tiny little girl. She looked like 4 or 5 walking home from school. There's some kids on the other side of the street right now walking home, but they're so cute, just holding hands, and oh my gosh, I love it. I just love it. It makes me feel safe as a solo female traveler. Look who, or shall I say what, brought my food out. Yes, this is one of Japan's many contactless restaurants where you don't have to come in contact with any waitstaff unless you need assistance. When you enter, you seat yourself, then you order from an iPad and your food arrives via robot. The experience was 10 out of 10, and the food, that was actually pretty good too. The chicken was moist and tender, and the veggies were seasoned to perfection. All in all, this was a great pick.
On our way, forever in a new place. Our tomorrow starts today. We're moving so we can't stay. No paths are the ones we make. We ain't doing the same thing. We escape like renegades, living for the next chase.
Well, good morning, good people. I am currently on a bus to Osaka, and from Osaka, I'm flying to country number 2. And I did not finish the vlog yesterday because right before I was set to head out to dinner, I realized that I'd made a little bit of a mistake. So here's what happened. My plan was to have one day in Kanazawa to get myself together, pack my room, and just really kind of get myself squared away before I traveled out of Kanazawa and back to Osaka for my flight to country number 2. But I realized something yesterday, and that was that the flight that I wanted to take was not going to match up to when I arrived back in Osaka. I have to take a 5-hour bus back to Osaka from Kanazawa. And so there were no flights that matched up with the time that I was going to get there, except for 7:00 p.m., arriving at 1 a.m. on Saturday. And I needed to check into my apartment at 2:00 p.m. And so that wouldn't have worked because I would have lost an entire day in the next place that I'm staying. So I made a split-second decision last night. Instead of leaving Kanazawa tomorrow, I decided to leave Kanazawa today, Thursday. So last night I was getting my stuff together, making sure that all my clothes were washed, my stuff was packed up, and booking the ticket for this bus that I'm on right now, and then also booking my flight out of Japan and to country number 2. And so I really couldn't vlog anything. But I am now on the bus and about 3 hours into the 5-hour bus ride back to Osaka, and I thought it would be a good time to update you. I feel a little bit more centered. Normally, I buy my tickets way early in advance and I plan everything down to the T, but for some reason, I just felt like I shouldn't buy my domestic tickets until I get in country, just in case anything happens. And I'm glad that I did that because I didn't realize that I needed a visa to get into Vietnam until I think like a week before I left for my trip. And because there was so much going on, I was like, okay, I'll do it when I get to Japan. And then I ended up waiting until I got to Osaka to do my visa. And my visa got denied one time because I didn't put my middle name in the given name field. And so I had to wait so it takes 3 days for them to process it the first time. Then I had to wait another 3 days. And so I didn't get my visa until yesterday. And so I was nervous and waiting to see if I would get it, because if I didn't get it, then I was just going to go to country number 3 first instead of country number 2. And so, which is Vietnam, I just kind of gave it away. So yeah, I'm going to Vietnam, but we don't know the city yet. We'll find that out later on. But so I was just a ball of nerves, just waiting for my visa to come in. And that's why my plans were kind of last minute, and that's why the whole flight situation happened like that. But anyways, after this bus ride, I still have a full day of travel ahead of me. I have to take the train to the airport, and then I am taking a flight from Osaka to China, where I have a 1-hour layover, and then from China to my next city in Vietnam. So it's gonna be an event-filled day, and you'll catch the complete travel day in my next video. But I wanted to wrap up my Kanazawa video and kind of give some information as to why it was cut short. But I did enjoy my time in Kanazawa. I really, really want to go back because it is a peaceful, relaxing, and beautiful place. So thank you so much for hanging out with me here in Kanazawa, and I will see you in country number 2.